Fantastic. Let's move on to topic 2, which is how to choose a new habit. So great job on your previous task. You found a couple of habits in your life and you identified the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. And so now you're probably wondering, well, when do we get to the good stuff? I want to change my life already. And patience you must have, my young Padawan. Just a few more important things. It would be nice if everything we wanted was already a habit. Just see how lovely life could be if we didn't constantly agonize over how we're exercising or eating or sleeping or not doing any of those things, as the case may be. For example, my life would be great if I could just fill in the blank with whatever you want. So if I could exercise every day, I'd bulk up and I'd drop my body fat percentage to 5% in no time. Or if I could just stop eating cheese, I would be such a better vegan and help save the world. If I could get 8 hours of sleep every night, my life would feel less out of control and I'd finally be able to get that pet unicorn or something like that. Sometimes the problem is that our desire is not realistic. Too bad about the unicorn. Or we try to focus on making a change simply through willpower, which rarely ever works. Then when the inevitable happens and failure sets in, we begin that wonderful self-blame game, making it even harder to reach any of our desired goals. The problem here is that we're looking at change in the wrong way. Most of the time we focus on changing an outcome. It's all about goals and results. Lose weight, exercise more, write the next great American novel, get my burned braid ducks in a row, that type of thing. But according to James Clear in Atomic Habits, outcome-based habits will almost always fail. And what we should be focusing on instead is identity-based habits. An identity-based habit is built on the idea of who you want to become. To explain creating an identity-based habit, Clear uses an example of 2 different responses for someone who wants to quit smoking. When they're offered a cigarette, the first person responds, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." While the second person responds, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." The first is an outcome, while the second is an identity. And that's an important distinction for several reasons. First, an identity is based on a set of beliefs, and then your behaviors will reflect those beliefs. Habits are very difficult to change if the principles fueling them aren't addressed. Second, reinforcing an identity results in intrinsic motivation to maintain a habit. If you're proud of something, you will go out of your way to protect it, nurture it, and promote it. For example, there are 2 truths in my life. One, I utterly despise mornings before the sun comes up, as I believe they are a torturous form of punishment. And 2, I love swimming. Yeah, I know these seemingly have nothing in common. However, the most convenient opportunity that I have to swim is before school in the morning. Getting up early for me is exquisitely painful. However, I am a swimmer. I am someone who swims well and loves the water. So a few days a week, I drag myself out of bed at an awful time in the morning in order to be at the pool at 6 a.m. because I'm a swimmer. There are several other things that I do. There are compounding habits that I'll mention later in order to make all of that possible. One of those things would be packing my swim bag the night before. According to James Clear, true behavior change is an identity change. Rather than focusing on the outcome, chase the identity. The goal is not to swim X times or X distance, but to become a swimmer. Not to read a certain number of pages each night, but to become a reader. Not to learn a specific language, but to become someone who practices a language daily. The focus is on becoming the type of person you want to be rather than a particular outcome. So your activity for today is to take some time to figure out who you want to be. What's the type of person who could achieve the outcomes that you are striving for? If you know what result you want, you can work backwards and think about what type of person would accomplish that. For example, who is the person who could learn a new language or write a book or lose 20 pounds? And then second, determine what are some things that that person would do. What small steps can you take to build that identity? Okay, you got this.